Hey, everybody.
It's John and Ashley Fisher.
We are super excited to have you guys join us this evening. We've got a couple of leaders who, one happens to be a really good friend of ours, and another one happens to be a girl who has a very moving story that we just thought absolutely needed to be shared with you guys. So this evening we have Bobbi Jo and Noel Hartman on the line. Bobbi Jo, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yay, we can hear you.
Woohoo!
Yes. And I think Noel is going to join us in just a minute. She's got a crying baby, so she's trying to handle that. So thank you for joining us on the call, Bobbi Jo.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We're blessed to have you as one of our good friends. And so I was really excited that you wanted to share your story because I know it kind of on a personal level. But do you mind sharing your story of how you got involved with It Works Global with us?
Not at all. So thank you again for having me, you guys, as a guest tonight. I'm very honored to join you. I am Bobbi Jo Norris. I live in Wisconsin as of right now. In September, I'll actually be living in Florida. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. And I got started with It Works Global because prior to It Works Global, I was actually a personal trainer. And I loved my job. I loved what I did. I loved changing people's lives. That has always been my goal, is to work with people. And I had my daughter, Sloan, and I did everything right. I ate right. I worked out every day. I counted my calories. I ran. I did the cardio. I did the weightlifting. I did everything right, and everything on me was great except for my tummy. And it didn't seem like anything I did would change my belly. And so I was talking to my husband, and I was expressing to him my frustrations and saying, people in the personal training world judge you based off of how you look. It's unfortunately the reality of that particular career path. And I felt like I was letting clients down by not being able to tone my belly up. And we were talking, and at the time we were actually dirt poor. We didn't have extra money ever to do anything or even eat sometimes. And so he was like, well, if you can train so-and-so and so-and-so on the side, you could get an extra $25 and try this thing I found on Facebook. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he showed me a before and after picture off of Stephanie Dunn's Facebook page, who they were friends still to this day. We don't really know how they're friends on Facebook, but we like to say that God intervened in our life, that particular moment of our life. And I called her up, chit-chatted with her, and I actually joined the company before even trying a rep. And came home that night, and I was talking to Sean, and I said, hey, you remember that rep thing that you found? And he's like, yeah, so are you going to try it? I mean, it's only $25. At least we didn't have to spend a lot of money, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I was like, well, actually about that. And he was like, yeah, what about it? And I told him that we actually sell it now. And his eyes, I think, popped out of his head that day. And he just looked at me and he's like, Bobbi Jo, we don't have the money to spend to join this company. And it was $199 at that time to join. And I said, babe, I'll figure it out. I'll make it work. She was talking about numbers, and I just kept saying, like, we need this in our life. We need this in our life. So that's kind of how we found It Works.
I love it. And so how did your start kind of go? Did you guys just take off, or was it a little bit of a slower start?
I would say we didn't really have a start. We actually joined the company in November, and probably about 6 months later, I actually started working. And not because I didn't want to work, it's because I had a very heavy workload for my clients. I had a brand new baby who required a lot of my attention. She, to this day, is still my shadow. And my husband was working, 50, 60, 70 hours a week in retail to try to keep us afloat. And I didn't have any idea what to do. I really just didn't know where to start, what to do. I felt very overwhelmed, and I felt as a personal trainer, I really needed to understand the material that I was going to be delivering to my clients before I can be like, hey, just smack this on and figure it out. And I wish I wouldn't have done it that way, but that's how my journey started.
I love it, though, because I think we kind of were similar. And, I think now we can look back and be like, just don't do what we did.
Right.
And we have Noel on, too. Okay. So I guess I'll let Noel, now that she's on, if you haven't hit star 6 and unmuted yourself, go ahead, and we'll have you share your story, and then we'll kind of ping-pong these questions back and forth between y'all. Noel, are you there? Right. Okay. Just pop in whenever. No, I can't hear you. Hit star 6.
Well, you must have muted yourself again. There's a ticking noise.
I know, it's crazy.
Try calling back in. That might help.
This is so funny. So, guys, this is just a lesson, and you don't have to be technologically savvy in order to rig this. Sorry, or have a quiet dog. Okay, Bobbi, well, then we'll ask you. So, have you ever kind of had, like, a dramatic change in life or business that you think might have affected your business?
I think I have had several dramatic changes in my business and in my life. I've grown a lot as a person in my journey with It Works. I've been with the company for 3.5 years. I have learned a lot about myself and my capabilities and my limits. I've learned a lot about love, about appreciation. I've learned a lot about compassion, but more or less, for me, when I decided to work the business, I had a falling out with the gym owner at our particular gym. Mm-hmm. One of the gyms that I was working at, and he basically, I told him, I said, I'm having a really rough time right now with trying to figure out my husband's work schedule with my work schedule and, making sure our babysitter is set with our daughter. And he looked at me and he said, why is that my problem? And I said, it's not. I'm just telling you, like, can we work around hours? I don't know what else I should do. And he said, you can either work here or you can leave. And I'm very much a red personality, and it took pretty much everything in me to not want to punch him in his nose. But I just looked at him and I was like, you know what, I'm out of here. If you're not going to appreciate my services and the clientele base that I have, that I built up for this particular organization, why am I still here? And he told me, you're replaceable. And I think that was a huge awakening moment for me in my life, because I don't want to be replaceable. I want to leave a legacy for my family and for my friends and my community and my church and things like that, where people want to have direction and want to feel appreciated and loved and accepted for all walks of life. And so at that particular moment, I decided to work. And I said, you know what, I'm going to make this business work for me. And I worked really hard. And I worked really deliberately for 30 days straight. I don't think I slept maybe like an hour every night. And I had 30 days to hit that $10,000 good bonus for myself, because it was the last month that I was going to get it. And I was like, well, if I can just hit diamond, this will actually replace my income, blah, 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 that whole deal. Right. So for 30 days, I worked nonstop, and in 30 days, I hit diamond. And it was a very huge turning point in my life and in my organization. I love it. That guy did you probably one of the biggest favors that he doesn't even realize. Absolutely. I was like, you're being what the devil meant for terrible and bad, God meant for good. And you look when you're going through it, you don't look at it that way. But when you're able to step back and step out of the situation, you look back and you're like, oh, thank you, Jesus.
I love that. That's cute. Okay, Noel, do we have you now? Everybody cross your fingers. This is hilarious.
Can you hear me?
Yay!
I get hurt.
I was like, we don't have to be technologically savvy at work to be successful at all. Well, hey, thank you for joining us. We let Bobbi Jo share her story and asked her a couple questions while we were waiting for you. But we'd love to hear your story now, and then we've got a couple more questions to ask both of you.
Okay. Well, I am a triple diamond. I started in July 2012. At the time, we were barely making ends meet. I mean, my family transferred money to my bank account. It was that bad because they were tired of seeing me post that I was eating ramen noodles for dinner. So I joined on a limb, and I didn't really do much at first. And I was working as a nurse eventually in the fall after I started. My husband deployed. And, my journey has been crazy. I don't even know how to explain it. It's literally an obstacle course. But I'm a military wife, mother of two, and I think, have every curveball thrown at me so far, and I feel like I've still come out on top. So I think that would be my story, I guess. Sorry, I'm literally just getting home from the beach right now.
That's okay. So you said you didn't get really started right off, which is funny because neither did I, and neither did Bobbi Jo. So how was your start? Why do you think you didn't get started right off?
I didn't have the passion, if I'm being honest, and I didn't want it bad enough. I didn't really see the vision. And I tell people that all the time. I feel like you need to have a moment. And for me, I remember the moment like it was yesterday, and I tell all my team, you will know when you need this and you want this enough to push past everything that is thrown at you, every excuse you can think of. But I just didn't want it enough. I didn't need it enough. And some Jessica Simpson song apparently made me need it enough. So I don't know. But I think I just kind of stayed back and made excuses for 5 months, and then finally I realized if I want my life to change, I'm the only person that can change it.
Right. Well, so have you ever had a dramatic change in your life or maybe in your business that you think affected your business?
Well, the most recent was my house fire, February 15th, this past 3 months ago. My house burned down to the ground while both me and the kids and the dog, my husband, barely escaped the house. The roof collapsed within 30 seconds of us getting out of the house. And that was that wasn't just a business change. That was a life, I gotta try not to cry here, but it made life real. And I lost everything. Every business thing, everything I've ever worked hard for. And I'm sorry. And I think knowing that I had it work was the only thing other than my family that made me keep going. And sorry.
No.
I think it was the only thing that kind of pushed me past my situation was knowing that this thing can keep me afloat, that if I didn't have this, I would be really screwed. I mean, we lost everything, my car, you name it. And my business, I mean, I had distributors who left my team because of this. Some of them really were mean to me, saying, you can't give me the time, so I'm going to someone else who can. I mean, I was down as deep as you can get and depressed from this. And I looked at myself and my kids, I was like, you know what? Screw them. You know, if people are going to walk away from me and not, you know, embrace the situation and realize that I'm going to come out on top, then I don't need them. So, I mean, I've had people say mean things and say, you're not being a leader. I need you to be a leader right now. It's promotion time, yada, yada, yada. And, I'm glad they did that at some point, because then it pushed me to come out of my shell and not hold on to that situation, because I was like, I didn't know what to do when that happened. I mean, I lost everything that I knew to do. Every product that I've ever owned, I lost. All I had was my phone. I didn't have a car to get anywhere. We couldn't afford things because, everything was in there. My husband's wallet, you name it, it was in the house. So that situation affected me to the aspect of realizing that there are no excuses. This is on my phone. I promoted Triple Diamond 2 months after my house burned to the ground. Is that the kind of answer you want? I'm trying to think of what to say that's not going to make me cry my eyes out.
No, that's great. That's great. So I think that for you would probably have been a time that you just refused to think. So what do you think you did? How did you get going again? You were like lowest of low, and then you got going again.
Before you start, I'm sitting over here with my mouth gaping open after hearing your story. So,
I think it was what did I do? I just didn't stop doing what I did, to be completely honest. I delegated a little bit on my team. I made some of my leaders step up, and help with management mode, per se. But I just worked the business, okay? I talked to everyone I could think of. I utilized social media like you would not believe. I followed up with every single person I've ever talked to. That hundreds list, I think, was like a million list for me. I was like, you know what? Enough's enough. I need this bonus. I need this. I'm not going to let people say that, that this has made me fail. This is going to help me. I'm going to just come out on top, because I'm the type of person that if someone tells me I can't do something, then I'm going to freaking do it. So I just worked hard. I'm a social media person, so my Instagram, that's where I went to, and I just worked 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. I didn't stop.
I love it. So what about you, Bobbi Jo? Because you had, a brand new baby, and you guys are already kind of struggling. You lose your job. You obviously feel pretty low, but you refused to stop there. What did you do? What steps did you take to just run, and then maybe if you hit it, another difficult time again, to just keep running?
You know what? You just have to decide. You have to just decide that you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. As cliche as it sounds, and I grew up my whole life like Noel, people telling me that, you can't do that, you're not good at that. And everything that I look back now and it's like I've always proved everybody wrong. And I stand firm on that because I am a very strong person, both physically and mentally. And yes, I get broken down. I'm not perfect, but I use every obstacle that I'm ever given in life as a tool to become stronger or smarter or more compassionate or more loving. And, you don't have to work like, like I said, you just got to decide. You don't have to work with, oh, woe is me, poor me, because that's not going to get you anywhere. You like Pam says it all the time. Get up, put your big girl panties on, and get moving. Mm-hmm. If you want it bad enough, you're going to make it happen. There's not one person who, when you want something, you find by any means to make that happen. So why is this business different for your life? And that was kind of for me. Like, I was like, you know what? Screw it. And I didn't use that word particularly, but I said, just screw it. I am going to make this happen. I have to make this happen. I don't want somebody else raising my daughter all the time. I want to be with Sloan. That is my world. That's what I would, God blessed me with her, so I'm going to go and do it. I'm going to raise her. How can I raise her and be home? Oh, I have It Works Global sitting right in my lap. Let me go and make this work. And you have to know your worth. Even when it's dark outside or you're in a dark valley and things don't seem good for you in your life, you know what? You got to pick yourself up. You got to talk yourself through it, cry a couple of tears or several hundred of tears, and just keep pushing and say, you know what? I'm worth it. I am worth being at the top, period, and make it happen.
I love that.
Yeah, very nice. So, okay, John here, in case you're wondering what
Hi, John.
Well, hey, everybody.
Hi.
So, okay, one of my questions was, everybody started out as a newbie, So, as a newbie, did you ever feel like you were just thinking? There was just too much going on. You didn't know what to do. And what did you do when you felt that way?
Which one are you asking?
Whoever wants to answer that one, sorry.
Or both.
Or both.
Okay. So you're saying whenever I was a newbie, what I do to
Kind of pick yourself up by your bootstraps, kind of.
yeah.
For me, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, when I was a newbie, I don't think I ever stopped being a newbie. I think if you start thinking you're such a veteran in this business, you start to lose compassion and you start to become more of a boss. I don't want to be a boss. I'm nobody's boss. I want to be on this journey with you. So my passion never shifts. My excitement doesn't change. My excitement, every time I unwrap people, I am still blown away by this wrap 3.5 years later. And I think as a newbie, when you are in that dark place and you're just like, you know what, I don't know if this is for me. I don't think this is going to work for me. I can't find one loyal customer. I asked 75 people and not one person wants to join my team. You know what? Go ask 75 more. And out of 75 more, you're going to find one person to just go and smack a wrap on them and be excited. When the more people you wrap, the more confident you are going to grow in these products. The more confident you grow in the products, the more confident you become in this organization. And the more confident you're in this organization, the more confident you are in yourself. And you don't have to know everything about everything. In fact, I discourage you from knowing every ingredient about everything. People still ask me, oh, what's in it? You know what? I don't know. I don't know what's in it. I just know it's awesome and it works. And, you got to be passionate. And the more people you wrap in the beginning, the longer your excitement will stick and the more you're going to want to work. So you got to get up and talk to more people. The more people you talk to, the faster you're going to grow. And the faster you grow, the more money you make. And that money is not the answer to every problem, but it sure makes you sleep a lot better at night.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, Noel, are you back?
Yes, sorry. I have a nursing baby. All right.
You're good.
You want me to answer that question or you want me to go to a different one?
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever I felt like I was thinking, not succeeding, I'm a huge believer in positive affirmation. That's my go-to. I read them, devotionals. That's the only thing, if I'm being completely honest, that can really pick me up emotionally and spiritually. And I feel like if I'm not emotionally and spiritually connected, then I can do everything I'm supposed to do, but it's never going to work out if I'm not in the right mindset. So for me, that's kind of like I have to do that. That's number one for me. And then like she said, I go back to basics. I just work the steps it says every single month. There's no excuse for me. That sheet has to be filled out, if not twice, 3, 4 times. And that is my goal. And if I feel like, I'm not getting anywhere, I look at myself. What am I doing that I didn't do before? What am I not doing? What am I doing differently? Caroline. So, and then,
Yes, she just wants to join in.
What did you say?
John said that was an amen, and I said, yeah, she just wants to join in.
Yeah. Caroline. Yeah, so positive affirmations. I mean, you aren't doing them. I don't know if Caroline, I don't know if there's a lot of people who have. There was one floating around a while ago, and I say it every single day. I have my team say it every single day, and I am not joking. Your day changes completely if you start your day with positive affirmations to yourself and giving yourself a goal and realizing that you're not perfect. You're human, and you may have bad days, bad months. That's fine. Just keep going, be positive, and realize you are worth it. And as long as you see your dreams and you work for it, it doesn't matter the pace you're going. It doesn't matter if you're succeeding in someone else's eyes or your own. If you're working a business and you're trying every single day, I think that is all that matters. I'm sorry.
That is a perfect summary of it. I was talking to somebody earlier this week, and we were talking about length of time in the business versus how you grow other ways, and I think I said the important thing is to be excited and to grow your story. We're talking about changing your life, changing other people's lives. So that's how we all start a call is what's your story? Tell us about you. And it's never, I wrapped 8 people this month, and I signed 3 loyal customers, and 4 loyal customers and 3 distributors. Our story is I changed somebody's life. Our story is we went out there and we talked to people and we saw the excitement, So I think that was really a beautiful way to say it.
Yeah, I do. So we know this business is tough. We know there's times, that you get tired because, although we don't work a 9 to 5, we do put in hours. Somebody asked me one time how I, made this kind of money part-time, and I had to giggle because I was like, well, I don't work part-time to start off with. I just choose to work in my pajamas part of the time. But we have to kind of fill our own tanks as well in order to keep filling everybody else's and to keep going out there and giving back to people. So what type of personal development do y'all do? I don't know if you want to go first, Bobbi Jo.
Sure. I do a lot of different things. I watch videos, especially if I'm having like a really off day or a really down day or I feel like I'm in a rut. Because even as a triple diamond, you go through things. I'm in the field, in the trenches, working just like my team, and I know how it feels to have certain things happen. And so if I'm feeling just really bogged down and I'm not feeling like myself, I'll watch a lot of videos. I have several books that I like to read. I do devotionals every day. I cannot go a day without building my relationship with the Lord. I can't. I feel like ultimately that's the most important relationship that we're ever going to have. And that's got to be the foundation for you building relationships amongst your family, amongst your team, and amongst the people that you're going to meet out in the field. And, like John said, it's all about changing people's lives. And if you're constantly you're constantly pouring into other people, you have to get poured into yourself. And you don't need an upline for that. You don't need, don't go to your downlines and start complaining about this, that, and the next thing. I have a lot of sideline friends that I love, that I talk to, that get it, and you vent a little bit and you move on. But more importantly, the biggest fulfillment that I find for myself is when I pour into other people. When I am having a really bad day, bad week, a bad month, I haven't found anybody all month, and you get annoyed and whatever happens in your organization. Life gets you down, and then you got business, and you got family, all this stuff. I am very hands-on in our community. I do a lot of work with human trafficking. I work a lot with our church. I do a lot of work with poverty within Milwaukee, and as far as like clothing and abuse shelters for abused women and kids. I work a lot with all these organizations, and just pouring into these people and giving back to them really fuels me and relights my fire and fills my heart, and it's something you can't even explain.
Noel, did you have anything that you wanted to add on to that one for personal development?
Yeah. Well, like her, I have to do devotional. I don't know. I just don't feel connected unless I do. I feel like my whole day's off balance. Every single day when I unfortunately have to do laundry, I also make sure I have YouTube up, and I am watching and learning from as many people as I can. I like to go in different companies too to also learn because they have great ideas. So I'm always like reaching other MLMs, and I watch videos on, how they network and just good ideas that I can just get poured into, because if I'm going to be tortured in doing laundry, I better at least somehow get enjoyment out of it. That's all I have to say about that. But I also, if I'm feeling really, really down, I like to go listening. I know that sounds probably really weird and strange, but I feel like if I get the adrenaline rush of listening and making someone happy and really excited, it changes my whole day around. So if I'm really, really down, I'm just like, you know what, I'm going out, and I'm not leaving. I'm not coming back to the house unless I've talked to 10 people and gotten 10 numbers. I just won't. And that's the only way I can get myself out of a rut. I can read, and I can watch as many videos, and I can talk to as many people, but the only way I can really feel better is if I blitz. It probably sounds really strange, but just try it, because the adrenaline somehow just wipes all the worries away.
I agree with that.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I love doing that too, Noel. That's awesome. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, well, and they say, action is what crushes fear. So, I mean, it's got to crush judgments too. Yeah, I'm a big in the shower YouTuber. I watch a lot of Jim Rohn in the shower, and my iPhone is still surviving. So, that's one of my ways. And John's a big blitzer.
Yep.
So, do you guys think that events are important for you, for your business, for your team, and why?
Who wants to go first?
No, you can go.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's really important because I don't know about anybody else, but sometimes I just need some black, green, and bling around me. I just need it, okay? I just need that. It's like the shot, I don't know, it just kind of revs me up. I just need it. And it's so good for realizing what you're doing, and other people are doing it with you. There's a sense of that you belong. And the friendships, I have the best of friends, so events is an excuse for me to, kind of get away and have fun. But it builds me up like none other. And I know they're expensive, especially as a newbie. You're like, oh, my God, I can barely even afford this or that. But do whatever you have to do to get there. I maxed out two credit cards to get to my first conference. And you know what? I went diamond a month and a half after conference, and I was barely making $50 checks when I walked in those doors. So I know it's worth it. And it just, there's something about it. You just got to do it. Just buy the ticket and get there, and you will understand.
So you're saying it's more like you can't afford not to go.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can't. I mean, if you do, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
I know. So what do you think about events, Bobbi Jo?
I think if you're not reinvesting into your own organization, why are you in this business? Events and corporate calls and being on calls like this are fuel. They're fuel for your mind. They're fuel for your business. They're fuel for new ideas. I mean, it is the driving force when you can be with people who are rowing the same boat as you. It is the driving force when you can be around people who say, you know what, I've been at that rank for 3 years. I totally understand how you feel. I get it. There's people in this organization who will blaze by you and pass you up, and, you'll feel frustrated and annoyed and disappointed, and then all of a sudden you start thinking that everybody's doing it that way. So what am I doing wrong? Why can't I do this? Blah, blah, blah. Why me? And then you get to these events and you hear people's testimonies and you're like, oh my gosh, I am normal. Like, it's awesome. Like, you have to get to events. I mean, would you, if you worked for a corporate office, a 9-to-5 job, and they said, you know what, you have to go to Boston and sit in a meeting for 9 to 5 for the rest of the week because that's where we want you to go and do some learning, you wouldn't say, you know what, no, I can't, because you know what, you would be fired. That's the bottom line. You're either going to go or you're not, and you won't have a job if you don't go. And that's kind of how you have to treat your business. Don't treat it like a hobby. If you want it to be a career, you have to treat it like a career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. So we mentioned corporate calls, and there's going to be one coming up in about 24 more minutes, the Sunday night family call. So we're going to close up real quick with what do you all have as maybe one last tip, something that we didn't touch on, something that you just want to expand on. What's one more thing that you each have that you want to throw out there?
Who would you like to start?
Oh, and Noel went first last time, so Bobbi Joe, do you mind going first this time?
Sure, not at all. Well, I say two things. The first tip is don't use the Q word, in your business. And when my husband and I first got married, one of the things that we went through was premarital counseling. And if you do not offer the D word, which is divorce, in your organization or in your your relationship, see, I'm all in business mode. If you don't offer the D word in your relationship, you're not going to be divorced because it's not even brought up as an option. So when you're in this business, don't use the Q word, which is quit, because then it's not even an option, and you will bust through every obstacle or bump in the road that comes your way, number one. Number two, the second tip I'm going to tell you is a lot of times you're going to hear ambassadors and presidential standing on stage and saying, if I can do this, you can do it. We are nobody special. And I disagree with that 100%. And I'm going to tell you why. Because people that are on that stage are determined and they're persistent. They have two qualities that a lot of people do not have when they're in this business. If you want to make it to the top, you have to be determined and you have to be persistent. And you have to decide right now, right today, that those two qualities are now in your business.
I love that.
Well, I'm not supposed to top that. Let me think. Man, you took. All right, let me think for a second. Okay, life throws you a bunch of things. Okay, and I get it. I really get it. And I know sometimes you just want to just put things on the back burner, but I really feel momentum is key in this business. I mean, you only grow one time. So if you want this to be your business, and if you want this to be your life, then you really have to throw the excuses out. I mean, I know some days you just want to lay on the couch, and I know some days you feel like crap and the kids are driving you insane. I get it. But the only way this is going to work for you is if you work it. You can't hope and dream and think that bank account's going to go up. It's not going to happen. You can't just wait for a runner. You have to be a runner. You have to work your business. They're not going to say, oh, she's doing this. No, they're going to follow you. If you want them to run, you need to run. Stop being in management mode. You have to work. And I know as a newbie, you're like, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to get there. You will get there if you realize you are worth it and this is what you want. Otherwise, you might as well quit, because unless you're going to put in all the hard work and reap the benefits at the end, you might as well be like, okay, it is what it is, because you need to work and you need to love it. If you don't love it, then it's not going to work either, because you're not going to want to do it every day if you don't love it. I'm about passion. I'm just a passionate person. And I finally got the kids away.
That's what you need. You need that determination, that persistence, and that passion for this business.
Yeah.
Well, we are very excited and grateful that y'all donated like 40 minutes of your Mother's Day, because you have 2 moms on our call, to us. And we want to thank you guys for sharing your heart with us and your stories with us, because I knew that you both had amazing stories of that determination, that passion, and that persistence. So we thank you for sharing it with our team and with everybody else who's going to get this. So we hope that y'all have a good night, and everybody who's listening, in 20 minutes we've got a corporate call, and we hope that you don't miss it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, and good night, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great night.